Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Shattered Convictions. Today, we have an amazing show for you. As you guys already probably know, we're going to be talking about Jeffrey Epstein and the whole Pam Bondi release of the DOJ. I think this is a super important story, even though there were many attempts from the administration to try to go against it. And I was completely convinced this was probably the most impressive, the most important thing ever. And then I saw the Dow Jones cracked 50K. And all of my worries disappeared. And now I'm content to say that I am a citizen of this country, mainly because our government may be run by pedophiles, but the Dow Jones is up.
World War III has never been closer than it is right now.
The Pentagon today announced the U.S. is sending military assets closer to Israel, including one of the Navy's most...
I really quite close to, very close to AI.
You're making all my dreams come
President Xi Jinping has said that China is an home to Epstein security crime, and he wants people in China to...
The Dow Jones is up. There's nothing to complain about.
There's nothing to complain about.
Yeah, like land of the prosperous.
Everything is clear.
Go.
Everything is free.
Does that mean I get my 401k?
No, but other people get to profit.
Oh, true. The American way.
Yeah, and I think this is probably the craziest thing. I mean, obviously, I'm joking. I don't think that we're all fine because the Dow Jones hit 50K like most Americans. Most Americans are freaking out about this situation. And I think the main freak out may not necessarily be the situation itself. I think a lot of people already kind of had an idea that something like this was going on, but mainly how blatant the administration is trying to come and cover it up and pretend like this isn't a huge story that it is. And what do you think it is? Do you think it's just the bipartisan rot in our country that's just not allowing us to really solve this, or is it just something deeper?
I don't even think it's bipartisan. I think it's just rot. You know what I mean? To the core from both parties. I don't think one party is like morally superior to the other. And like, not to like give Pam Bondi credit because like she don't deserve any, but I will give it to her that like Democrats have been quiet this whole time. And granted, the Epstein Files were sealed. You know what I mean? They were going under investigation, so you couldn't really like look through it and whatnot, but still nobody cared until Trump got in office. You know what I mean? And that's not to excuse Trump or this administration. Right now, they're the ones in charge, and they're the ones who are like the face of it currently. You know what I mean?
100%.
Right, responsible, right. Like, that's not to say we just ignore what was happening during the Obama administration or the Bush administration or so forth, but currently it is this administration at the helm, and they have to take the brunt of what's happening currently.
I think I agree with you because it's a level of like maturity in a way, right? It's like, okay, fine. The previous administrations also covered this up. This is a cover up that's spanned 4 administrations.
Right. That we know of. Yeah.
But most people, when they hear that, they don't go, oh, well, I don't want to do this because, you know, my president or my guy is getting hurt. Most people, there are people like that.
There are definitely people like that.
Most Americans, I would say, who are not necessarily focused on being right or left or being Republican or Democrat, being a human, being a citizen. Like, they're more carried about being a brother, a father, you know, a mother. Like,
right.
They care about being a human more than being part of a particular party. And I think that's really the split that's happening here, because what I've been noticing is many people across the aisle, again, it is a bipartisan, really us versus them story. It's as clear as day. It's very influential, very powerful, rich billionaires who are doing probably one of the most, if not the most depraved thing even possible,
Agreed.
even feasible, thinking of how evil something could be. This is it. And it's like we have, you know, one level where it's, you know, just the fact that a lot of our politicians are blackmailed, possibly by a foreign country.
Most likely,
probably by Mossad. We have some of the emails there that, you know, kind of prove it a little bit.
That, right.
But to be general, it's like at best, our government was involved in a honeypot scheme where politicians were blackmailed and they were abusing children. At worst, we have like a
cabal of pedophiles.
Yeah, a cabal, ball worshiping, demon worshiping pedophile group that wants to eat children. It's like when that's the story, when that's the level of like, okay, do you think they were just eating kids, or you think they were just, you know, touching them? Like, what level are you at? And I think that's what people are talking about here, because it's like before this wasn't really a conversation in open day. Now, if I go onto the street and I start asking people, hey, what do you think about what's going on? They're all tapped. They all are like, oh, this is ridiculous. This is insane. And it's like the shift, the Overton window of what you're allowed to talk about, of what's going on, has shifted so much to the point where now it's starting to get a little bit scary for the country, because if we pay attention on how the dynamics between power and like the citizens, there's always going to be the dynamic, right? There's going to be the organizer class who are, you know, better at manipulating money and being able to like organize things and start businesses and do all that stuff. And then there's regular people who work and toil and use their labor to, you know, make the country fruitful.
Right.
There's a big balance. Now it's so skewed because it's so blatant, it's so in everyone's face that there is a obvious power balance, and there's an obvious like
and like there's
legal
not
difference
one
between
sector that's like absolved of any of this. Like they're all included. You know what I mean? Like the papacy I saw was in the files too. You know what I'm saying? Like it's tech, it's government, it's military. You know what I mean? It's celebrities, it's Hollywood, it's everybody. You know what I mean? And like if anything, I feel like this should be the unifying thing in our country. The fact that it's dividing us more blows my mind, honestly, because it's like I think we could all agree like taking advantage of children, especially in that matter, is terrible. And, like, you should get the Hague, you know what I mean? Or the Hague, however you pronounce it. Like, you should be dragged through the streets. And the fact that people are still, like, oh, well, like, Obama was mentioned 8,000 times. It's like, okay, and, like, Trump was mentioned 5,000 times. Like, one does not absolve the other. You know what I mean? Like, they should all be dragged through the streets. I don't care if they're left or right. You know what I mean? If your name appears there and you're a perpetrator or a co-conspirator or anything like that, you should have your assets removed, you should be jailed, you know what I mean? Or at least investigated, at least.
Yeah, bare minimum. And that's kind of the biggest thing, where it's like, okay, fine, we understand. We can't go off of a allegation or go off of one particular email and put the guy in prison right away. But we can't run through their financial records. We can't run through their email list in the same way that we did with Epstein. Right. Because to me, there are some emails here that are so obvious that he is sex trafficking children or sex trafficking, you know, barely legal women who were probably manipulated when they were young too. So no matter which way you cut the cookie, it's demonic and evil.
Right, agreed.
But it's just so blatant. I like, it's hard to really sit here and be like, okay, like give charitability here, give charitability there, where it's just so blatant. For example, there was a story, or one of the files, where Jeffrey Epstein ordered 6 55-gallon tubs of sulfuric acid, right? And when you see something like that, I think it should be pretty clear what they're doing.
Right. Like,
now,
what is that used for?
Exactly.
Like,
now, well, people
we
will
can go to dark theories, but are they theories? You know what I mean?
No, because people go, oh, it was for water salination and blah, blah, blah. But my whole thing is this. It's like, let's be... I understand you want to be charitable to pedophiles and elites.
Right,
and
I don't think
make,
you
make,
should
I
be
maybe
charitable
think it's,
at all to pedophiles, but like,
yeah, of course,
go
but,
off, king.
Yeah, you want to go and be
Like,
charitable, fine. But then it's like, then you put it in the context that he ordered it right after he started getting investigated in 2018. That doesn't put the picture in there for you. Like, that doesn't solidify what was going on here.
Right.
And it's like, the people will see that and just deny. And I think that population of people is less and less. And I think more people are waking up to what's going on.
I think so too. And like, I don't know if you saw the Pam Bondi hearing. Like, I saw like, as well as like the greatest hits, if you want to call it that. But like, it was like 6 hours of just her getting torched. You know what I mean? And like,
rightfully so.
Rightfully so. And we actually do have some clips if you want to.
Yeah, let's just run the first clip. Yeah, I think it's just.
We could run clip number 1, please.
You apologize to the survivors in your opening statement for what they went through at the hands of Jeffrey Epstein. Will you turn to them now and apologize for what your Department of Justice has put them through with the absolutely unacceptable release of the Epstein Files and their information?
Congresswoman, you sat before Merrick Garland sat in this chair twice.
Attorney General Bondi.
No, can I finish my answer?
No, I'm going to reclaim my time because I asked you a specific question that I would like you to answer, which is, will you turn to the survivors? This is not about anybody that came before you. It is about you taking responsibility for your Department of Justice and the harm that it has done to the survivors who are standing right behind you and are waiting for you to turn to them and apologize for what your Department of Justice has done.
Members get to ask the questions. The witness gets to answer in the way they want to answer. The Attorney General can
That's
respond.
not accurate, Mr. Chairman.
Because she doesn't
It
like
is
the
my
answer.
time.
So,
Mr. Chairman,
why
I have asked
didn't
a
she
question.
ask Merrick Garland this?
I am
twice
reclaiming
when he
my
sat in
time,
my
and when
chair?
I
will
reclaim my
continue to
time,
answer.
it is
Mr. Chairman, the
my
gentlelady has
time.
reclaimed
I'm
her
not going
time.
to get in the gutter for her theatrics.
Yeah, and it just shows that it's like, look, yeah, maybe that's a fair question, right? Why didn't you ask the previous person? Cool. You don't get to ask that question because you're literally the person involved in the person in charge of it.
And not to mention, you're at a hearing. You're not supposed to be asking questions at all. You're supposed to be answering questions. You know what I mean? Like it's not a trial. Like I don't know if you ever saw Oppenheimer, but like there's no burden of proof in a hearing. You just have to sit there and answer. You're not supposed to be asking back. But like besides that, her like MO is just deflect. You know what I mean? Like you were saying perfectly. Granted, she's on the money saying that like nobody ever asked Merrick Garland or like the previous administrations. Cool, but right now you're the one in charge. You know what I mean? Answer for your portion of it. You know what I mean? Like, and I don't know, man. Like it kind of gives me. I also want to talk about Jim Jordan. That's the chair for the hearing, and there's no proof of this. This is just my own speculation, but dude is totally compromised in my opinion. Totally compromised. He's alleged to downplay sexual assault at Ohio State and told like athletes to like not say anything and just deny it. So like you have a guy like that in charge of the hearing, bro. You know what I mean? To me, it seems like a conflict of interest. You know? So I feel like he's probably in the files.
I mean,
those are bold. That's a bold take.
Who knows? Because there's 3 million more files that they haven't released yet, and I think the DOJ just came out and said they're not releasing any more files. So the problem here is that there is a huge question mark, right? The question mark is pretty clear now, like of like what kind of went on, but there's still a huge question mark because again, the administration's not doing their job investigating. There is so many allegations that happened all throughout these Epstein files, and I guarantee you none of them were followed up on.
Well, for sure, that was a major part of the hearing, and like her getting called out for not following up with like victims who reached out to the DOJ and the FBI, and essentially got left on red. You know what I mean? And like that's the people like we want manning this operation. You know what I mean? Pam Bondi and Kash Patel, like those are our fucking like heroes in shining armor.
Yeah, and that's a whole other thing with Kash Patel. It's like he comes out here, he speaks to the American people. He looks like he has a gun to his head, and he's saying there's no evidence that he had any co-conspirators. He goes, there's no evidence that he killed himself. And then when they release the footage, there's a minute missing. And then when we're talking about when the Epstein files, it's like, how dumb do they think the American people are that they're just going to just accept it? And that's the whole point, is that they think that we're stupid, and they make a pretty clear observation that the American people are not united, and they know that any kind of red meat, any kind of culture war slop that they can throw into the American people, we're just going to forget about this and fight and fight and fight. And I don't think that they anticipated the level of reaction that's happening now.
I don't think so either, honestly.
Yeah.
No, continue. I was just saying.
No, but it's like for example, if I come here and if we talk about something more, let's start conspiratorial, right?
Sure.
If we pay attention, like 2016, when this kind of first came out with the John Podesta email leak, and there's all these emails that they're referring to pizza in a very particular way that makes it seem like they're referencing children, right? And then
or like the whole Wayfair thing.
Yeah, the whole Wayfair
For those of you that don't know, the Wayfair thing was Wayfair had items for sale like cabinets and like pillows and like bed sheets and things like that, priced at like $8,000, $5,000, $10,000, and they all had girls' names. Like every item that was for sale on that list would be called like Ileana or like Titania, or you know what I mean, and then be like, what pillowcase is worth $6,000 and it's named after a girl. You know what I mean? Like very, very weird coincidences that probably aren't coincidences.
Yeah, and that's the whole thing too with when we're talking about like this John Podesta emails and stuff. That's kind of where all this Pizzagate stuff started. Now, for me, I think Pizzagate was completely co-opted and taken over. And we can talk about why, because I have a particular theory on that too with Jeffrey Epstein's connection with the political board. Well, you got to say it's a theory
because like him and
you got to say it's a theory.
Him and Steve Bannon in the emails kind of admitted to it. You know what I mean?
Well, particularly with 4chan and the political board being reopened. Did they admit it to it?
Kind of. I mean, it's in the emails. You know what I mean? I have to like relook because so many kind of.
Well, I know there's an email where he literally comes out and someone's speaking to him. I forgot the guy's name. It starts with like an N. Nicole, something like that. But the guy was talking to Jeffrey and literally was like, this guy's easy to manipulate. And the person they were referring to was the creator of 4chan. And right after their meeting, they started up the 4chan political board. But that's a little bit getting off topic. But when we look at this Pizzagate scandal, after the attack on the actual pizza place, Comet Ping Pong, the whole thing got covered up, and anyone who talked about it was conspiracy theory. For sure, even though it was an obvious, bait and switch. There's a real thing here. We throw something fake out, people attack that.
I think that's why QAnon got popular.
What happened?
I think that's why QAnon got popular.
That's why QAnon got popular too, because they were kind of playing on this theory that everyone knew was already true.
Right, but you make them look crazy.
And then inputting BS stuff in there.
Right,
yeah,
and then you make them look crazy, and they lose all credibility.
And then in the Epstein Files, this is an email here. It says, holy SHIT, chunky. I forgot about that. What time do you want to get pizza and grape soda tomorrow? Right? It was sent to Jeffrey Epstein, his vacation email. And it's like, why are billionaires talking about if they want to get pizza? Like, wouldn't you just order it? Like,
It's weird.
Why are you talking about that? There's other stuff too. Pizza party was great. We had a lot of fun, stayed late. We slept in all morning. Your night was good? Question mark.
Let me ask you a question. What millionaire or billionaire has pizza parties? You know what I mean? What are we in, like, 6th grade?
Yeah, exactly. What are you 6th grade busting out the pizza with all the slices? With like 16 different slices, you got to cut it, save some money.
Men that can buy Domino's or Pizza Hut itself. We're talking about pizza parties, bro. Like, that's so weird, man.
But the whole thing is like
so weird.
It confirms the previous conspiracy because now we see that Jeffrey Epstein was talking in the same way, and it kind of confirms the widespread of it because, for example, Jeffrey Epstein is hanging with Bill Clinton and Trump, both spectrums of the political party. Look at John Podesta. John Podesta was, a Democrat connected with Bill Clinton. Well, technically, he was Hillary Clinton's campaign manager. But it's so in your face, it's so blatant, and then this thing gets confirmed, and it kind of just puts everything in perspective that it's like we've always been living a lie. And then, not even just that, what solidifies it even more is the reaction of the administration.
Right.
And a lot of these people who go and defend Trump, particularly, and they say, oh, well, he was out here exposing it, he was out here doing this. For me, it's like
cope.
It's like I can go ahead and buy that, but it's cope because his reaction. When I say something to you and you instantly get defensive, what does that tell me?
Guilty.
It tells me you're guilty.
Right. Or
now,
like
it's not 100%, but
or like how many times has he said over the last like couple months, like, oh, we're still talking about this? People just need to move on. This guy was evil, and like, let's just forget about it. Like, dude, no. If you're like this transparent like crusader for the Epstein Files, you're not gonna want to like brush it along. You know what I mean? Like, if you really were like this MAGA talking point about how like he's the one who like brought it to light and this and that, and it's like, why does he keep denying it then? You know what I mean? Like, if you were the crusader bringing it to light, you would continue pushing. You know what I mean? Not being like, oh, we're still talking about this, but you know what I mean? Like, does that make sense?
No, it makes complete sense because if you're a human, if I can shake your hand and feel warmth, right? Like, if you look in my eye and we can understand that emotions happen, if you look at this situation, you would want everything to be exposed, right? Now, the only argument is like, the system would collapse if we ever try to take out these and that's my point. It's like, yeah, exactly. Why should I care about your system if it's built on demonic behavior?
Right. Like, and if anything, that's more telling than anything. It's like the whole system will crumble. Good. You know what I mean? Like, nobody, because essentially the government's telling us to shut up and pay taxes regardless.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And like, we should be up in arms about that. You know what I'm saying? Like, well, we mentioned the last time we recorded, but like prison is the moderate like position at this point. You know what I mean?
100%.
Like, that's the moderate position because like I'm not going to rally for violence and whatnot, but like people should be dragged through the streets. Like if there was a just world, you know what I mean? Like where pedophiles should not be given any kind of grace, in my opinion, not even a shred of it. You know, like especially if you get found out to like actually be a conspirator or like on the client list or whatever, dude, you are despicable.
100%.
You know what I mean? Like prison is too good for you.
No, I 100% agree.
And think about it. I'm sorry to cut you off.
If you look at like Ghislaine Maxwell, the way she's getting treated.
I was about to say like even if they do go to prison, put them in Gen Pop. Don't put them in these fancy billionaire prisons where they get to play tennis and have cable. And you know what I mean? Like put them in Gen Pop and see like the people's justice will come to light. You know what I mean? Because even prisoners don't like that. You know what I mean? Like,
of course.
There plenty I've heard plenty of stories of prisoners will like straight up kill somebody or get very close to it who like get arrested and sent to prison for that. You know what I mean? Like, you don't think they're gonna do it to the elites?
Do you think there's another level to this? It's like, in terms of like, let's say the blackmail operation of this. The reason why everyone's covering up, is it because they're in this partisan of like, oh, I can't criticize Trump? Or is it because they're compromised and they can't criticize? Because, like, for example, with Jeffrey Epstein, I think it's very abundantly clear that he was an intelligence agent.
I think
right?
so, too.
If you just look at the way that it was when he was arrested back in 2018, he was standing trial in 2019, the prosecutor literally said that he didn't prosecute him because he was connected to intelligence. He was told that. If you pay attention to all the passports the guy had, all his connections with Ahud Barak, different aliases, his connections are just so insane, so wide that there is a level of intelligence. I think it's almost abundantly clear if you look at every single step of this. And if that's the case, and then the purpose of him was to collect this blackmail, how much of our government is straight up blackmailed versus just like cowing down to the ring, like they're kissing the ring because that's where the power is?
I'd say a lot of it, honestly. Probably most of it. You know what I mean? Like, sure, we probably have like younger congressmen or senators now who aren't, just because of time and logistics. You know what I mean? But I wouldn't be surprised if like the older ones, 1,000%. 1,000%. People who've been in Congress for 30 years uncontested, 1,000%. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I don't know. It just like, I can't even like devil's advocate it. You know what I mean? Like, it just seems so obviously clear that everybody's compromised. You know, like Pam Bondi said herself, the whole system would crumble. You know, like if that's not telling that we're thoroughly compromised, I don't know what else is. You know?
No, I agree. I think we should play the Thomas Massey clip.
Ask Merrick Garland that the last 4 years. Did you talk about Epstein?
I'm reclaiming my time. I'm glad you're asking about Merrick Garland.
You don't get to reclaim time
this is bigger than Watergate.
When I don't answer a question the way
this
you
goes
want.
over 4 administrations. You don't have to go back to Biden. Let's go back to Obama. Let's go back to George Bush. This cover-up spans decades, and you are responsible for this portion of it.
And that's
now,
where the
I want to know, at what point did the FBI and the DOJ decide that Lex Wessner was not a co-conspirator? Because our Epstein Files Transparency Act requires you, please put it back on the screen, please, to release the internal decision about whether to prosecute him or not, and it's not in the files, and it's not in the files for any of these other men.
Time of the gentleman has expired.
May she answer?
And he's a hypocrite because he voted against the ban that we were talking about on deep fake AI porn. Only 2 people voted against it, and you were one of them, hypocrite.
And again, it just shows like she
She's
got
so
absolutely
funny, dude.
obliterated.
She's so funny, bro.
She got absolutely obliterated. She's funny because how much of a fool she is.
Right, exactly.
And it's like, oh my goodness, what is the state of our country when someone's getting asked a direct question and all they can do is deflect on national television, and then when she comes in, it's like, number one, you're here to answer questions about this specific case, right? You come in with the binder full of all this research, right? Thick binder. She looks so smart the way she opens it and has her pen and she's looking at it. She's like a genius, basically. And all she has written on there is just opposition research on the people asking her the questions. Right. And that shows you truly the purpose of her being there.
And like, I didn't, we ran out of space on the card to put that clip in there, but there is a clip of, I forgot what senator it was, but he was saying like, oh, did you bring your burn book? Like, I can't wait to hear what you have to say about me. You know what I mean? Like straight, like everybody knows, you know what I mean? Like, it's just crazy that that's still the tactic. You know what I mean? Just instead of just being like answering straight, like we just saw it firsthand. She deflected to the AI thing, which if like Thomas Massey passed on that, then sure, that's a fallible on him.
I didn't look into it. I guarantee you, because again,
he's probably wrapped up with other crap.
He's a libertarian guy. Right. He's super principled on like, if you have one little thing in this bill that I disagree with, I'm not voting for it. Right. So
I could totally see it be more of that, but like, just her like. The AI porn has nothing to do with what we're talking about. You know what I mean? Like nothing to do about it. So like bringing it up is just crazy. And the particular thing
he was talking about was because he caught them in a bold lie saying that there were no co-conspirators when he literally had a list where it labeled, I forgot, Lex Wessner as a co-conspirator.
And he was the only one redacted in a list of victims.
Exactly. And it's like, we give you all this time, and I'm going to start crashing out soon, okay? Crash out loading.
Valid,
We
dude.
give you all this time, right? You take an extra month to get these releases out. Number one, you're so incompetent that for some of the leaks, you didn't even redact it properly, right? And then another thing, you take all this time for the leaks, fine, and you can't even do the basic reason. The only reason you should be doing redactions is to block out victim lists,
Right.
and you literally have an email or a file that literally says a victim list with all their names unredacted. But then they had to have looked at it because it had a redaction in there.
Do you think?
So it's like,
do you think they redacted with like hotkeys? You know what I mean? Like anything that has like word, like things that are similar to Donald Trump. Let's just auto retract anything. You know what I mean? That has a D and a T in it. You know, like
they
at this point, like
the way they could have done it is they literally could have put a blindfold on, spun around with the bat, and hit. They could have hit a pinata and picked up random names and were like, we're gonna redact this one, this one, this one, because it's like they're so incompetent.
Right, and like we didn't even get to the part where Thomas Massey mentions that like he got an unredacted. That same file, he got it unredacted, but it already had like it was a redaction on top of a redaction. They had a white redaction and then the black redaction on top. So it's like how incompetent is this? Not even just this administration, it's just our whole government at this point. You know what I mean? Like,
and the question is, it's like, yes, they're incompetent to us because we want them to do their job.
Right.
But they are hyper competent for their special interests
Oh,
and
sure.
for
Yeah,
themselves.
that's a
because
good way
the
to
way
put
that
it.
they're acting is
Right.
strategic, and it is a strategy because Donald Trump is amazing at this, right? He's the legend. He's the best person, the greatest at deny. I did nothing. Fake news, fake news, fake news, fake news.
Right.
And they're trying to use that strategy here, not knowing that's literally just pouring gasoline.
right. And I don't think they're like aware enough to realize that's what's happening. You know what I mean? Because I feel like they still feel like they have the moral high ground. I feel like Pam Bondi left that hearing thinking she won.
Nah.
You know what I mean?
No
like,
way.
like logistically, optically, like everybody knows you got cooked. But I could almost guarantee she probably walked out of there thinking she won.
Yeah, because her job is to protect the president.
Right.
She is a fake person, and
It's a little messed up too. That it's super misogynistic that like all the fall people that Trump has, they're all women. It's kind of messed up.
He's done
dude.
irreparable damage to the women.
Right.
The women
I
community.
think so too, because it's like Pete Hex is not going to catch half the flack. You know what I mean? Marco Rubio's not going to catch none of that. JD Vance is not going to catch nothing. I don't even think Kash Patel's going to fully catch it compared to like
No, Kash Patel's getting his due.
compared to like Caroline Leavitt when it finally comes to her, or Pam Bondi or Chrissy Noem. I think they're going to get hit the hardest, which is messed up. You know what I mean? Like I feel like he's intentionally sabotaging like the women in our government. You know what I mean? That's
Yeah,
super
but Kash
messed
Patel's
up.
another one of these gremlins who
For sure.
is blatantly lying to the American people, goes on Joe Rogan, and is just like, there's no evidence of co-conspirators. When if you grab a random file on the Epstein file, like you literally grab a random one, it probably has some weird connection to someone else.
Right.
And it's like, you could tell the American government doesn't really care because where are the financial records?
Like
where are
whole
the bank
thing, right?
statements?
And like my whole thing with Kash Patel is like he says there's no client list. Then why is Ghislaine in jail? She was trafficking people like nobody to nobody. You know what I mean?
Apparently,
like,
yeah.
Like apparently that gets you a comfy little jail cell and a like trauma pet or whatever they wanted to call it. But crazy. But before we do that, you know who's not in the Epstein Files? Our sponsors. We'll be right back.
Thank you to our sponsors. North Avenue Bakery, Hotel Praia Sol, Luis Firmino Insurance, MCM Clinic, Top Burger, Go Car Services, Coimbra Restaurant.
Welcome back. Thank you once again to our sponsors. I want to play another clip because we have a couple more, and it's honestly a lot of these clips is just more of the same. You're gonna keep like certain things you're gonna hear over and over again. Merrick Garland, you're gonna hear a lot. You're gonna hear "I Reclaim My Time" a lot, and it just looks like childish, like schoolyard kind of like arguing. You know what I mean? If we could play clip number 3, please.
I want to know, were there any underage girls at that party or at any party that Trump attended with Jeffrey Epstein?
This is so ridiculous, and that they are trying to deflect from all the great things Donald Trump has done. There is no evidence that Donald Trump has committed a crime. Everyone knows that. This has been the most transparent presidency. He's the one that asked that those files
I'm reclaiming my time.
be
I got
released.
your answer. You said there's no evidence.
Trump asked
Mr. Chairman,
that
please
the
stop the
Congress
clock.
sign
Please stop the clock.
The legislation.
Time.
This is
Time.
this
I'd like
is
to take
ridiculous.
my time.
Time belongs to the gentleman from California.
Okay. I'm going to put up another document from a witness who called the FBI's National Threat Operations Center because I believe you just lied under oath. There is ample evidence in the Epstein Files.
Don't you ever accuse me of a crime.
I believe you just lied under oath, and this is on videotape. You said there's no evidence of a crime. I'm showing you. Here is a witness statement who called into the FBI's Threat Operations Center. He drove Donald Trump around in a limo. He overheard what Donald Trump said to Jeffrey on his cell phone. He was so angry, he was going to stop a limo and hurt Donald Trump. And he met a girl who said she was raped by Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein. She later had her head blown off, and officers at the scene said that could not have been suicide. No one at the Department of Justice interviewed this witness. You need to interview this witness immediately. Epstein should rot in hell, so should the men who patronized his operation. And as we sit here today, there are over 1,000 sex trafficking victims, and you have not held a single man accountable. Shame on you. If you had any decency, you would resign right after this hearing concludes.
The gentleman has expired.
Absolutely cooked.
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 Completely cooked.
And it, yeah.
She literally got caught. She got caught lying to their faces, and still called him. I don't know if you heard it because she said it kind of low, but like she called him a liar as he's presenting the evidence. Like, there's no reforming that, dude. Like that's you drink all the Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't even know where we go from this. Like, Pam Bondi should have left there in cuffs, in my opinion.
No, she should have left and instantly resigned. And the only way she could have ever reclaimed her is just instantly resign and go into an island, and not one of the Epstein Islands. Okay, you go into an island with nothing. Okay, nothing going on in there.
Napoleon.
Napoleon.
Bonaparte.
Yeah, Napoleon Bonaparte.
Treatment.
Banishment.
Yeah.
But it's like, and it gets to a level where it's just them laughing in our face. It's like a humiliation ritual to the American people.
But like literally though, and it's them literally gaslighting and laughing to our face. I think you said it perfectly, and we're just swallowing it, dude. Like, a majority of the people are just swallowing it, and just let's just pay our taxes.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like America was founded on a 3% tax on tea.
Yeah, something like that.
and then we come now and there's like no mass protests, nothing like that, and it makes me think it's like, if there were these mass protests, would there just be another distraction? Would there be another strategic, let's say, throw a pandemic or something like that? And again, I'm just speculating here, but
World
War. I mean, that seems like it's going to be coming up soon. It's very disheartening, and it's hard now to really sit here and pretend like America is this bastion of hope and like we love democracy and we're here to save people. And it's like, and I hear these arguments of like, oh, we need to help Ukraine because Russia's so evil, or we need to help Taiwan because China's so evil. And it's like, maybe
not in the Epstein Files?
Putin
or Xi Jinping.
Yeah, and that adds to it too, because now Putin can come out here and just say, well, the government's run by pedophiles. He can come out here and, like he has already said, there's an interview where he says the past 4 administrations he's spoken to, they all have someone above him talking to them. And now when we see this, we see the face of power, because I think Jeffrey Epstein was like a intelligence agency of himself. Like he was his own entity of like the power this guy was able to have.
I don't think he's the final boss though.
No, I don't think he was the final boss either, but I think he was like, he held extreme power.
Sure.
And when we get to see that in 4K of how power works, now the entire system, the illusion of this, this experiment is just fading. And we need to truly see that as Americans and understand that this is a critical point in American history, because if we just allow this to go on, what's going to happen in 20 years, 40 years time? Like, I can't even think of a scandal even close to this that's ever happened in American history. And the level of cover up.
Chris Rock.
Yeah. That was pretty big. That was pretty big. The Super Bowl,
Super Bowl, pretty big.
And that's another thing
too. How's that Bad Bunny, man? Like, the people were more like, it was a good show. I'm not gonna call it slop, but like, people are more upset about a 15-minute halftime show in Spanish than they are about literal pedophiles running our country.
But that's conditioning. That's truly conditioning.
Right.
And it makes me think that it's like, this is all strategic. The way that we're basically constantly traumatized with the news, right? We're inundated with like, this person dead, this person dead, this person's a pedophile, this war. And then when things start moving, when the chess game starts getting played, because there's actions and reactions, when we start taking actions, right? We start, let's say, invading in Venezuela, when we start making a war in Iran, when we start doing these types of things, no one's going to care because the most insane thing has happened, right? The Epstein Files, and nothing happens. So it's like when the Palantir grid starts coming in, American civil liberties are at risk. Like when we can't even exist or breathe without the state knowing, who's going to go out here and protest? It's like when
nobody.
When what's his face? Edward Snowden came out and exposed the NSA spy taps, people were livid. They were freaking out. And then what happened?
They called him un-American.
Well, the administration called him un-American, but the American people were backing him. And I think that kind of limited the level that they were at. But now with Palantir, nobody's giving any pushback. Well, there's people complaining on the internet.
Right, but it's a small amount.
But it's nothing compared to, it's nothing compared to what can actually happen. And it's like, you have to realize that we fight not against flesh and blood. We don't fight against each other. We fight against powers and principalities. We're fighting against these external forces that have time over us, power, money, like strategy. Like they're playing strategically to basically enslave humanity, right? They're trying to enslave humanity. It's like we're living now here. We have 50-year mortgages. 50-year mortgages. You can't do anything without paying for it on your credit card. Credit card debt's going out of whack.
But the Dow though.
But the Dow Jones. And then it's like, that's another thing. It's like, what? 40% of Americans aren't even involved in the stock market. And how many of those are even have a significant amount?
Right.
And then it's like, the only thing you can say is, oh yeah, our government's run by pedophiles, but the Dow Jones. It's like,
yeah. Let's play that clip. Let's play the Dow Jones clip, please.
And none of them asked Merrick Garland over the last 4 years one word about Jeffrey Epstein. How ironic is that? You know why? Because Donald Trump, the Dow right now is over $50,000. I don't know why you're laughing. You're a great stock trader, as I hear, Raskin. The Dow is over 50,000 right now. The S&P at almost 7,000. And the NASDAQ smashing records. Americans' 401ks and retirement savings are booming. That's what we should be talking about. We should be talking about making Americans safe. We should be talking about, what does a Dow have to do with anything? That's what they just asked. Are you kidding?
Mr. Jordan, Mr. Jordan.
Committee will be in order.
Mr. Jordan, am I going to get an extra 45 seconds added to my time?
The committee will be in order. The time belongs to the gentleman from Texas. Ms. Bondi, the Attorney General can respond.
Thank you. The Dow has shattered 50,000 for the first time. This is crazy. They said it couldn't be done in 4 years, yet President Trump has done it in 1 year. National median rents have fallen to a 4-year low thanks to Donald Trump. That's why they want to focus on Epstein and our most transparent president in the nation's history. The murder rate, as I said, has plummeted to a 125-year low thanks to Donald Trump. For an unprecedented 9 straight months, there were 0 illegal border crossings at the southern border. That's what we should be focused on. All the great work that this president has done and will continue to do to keep America safe and to make Americans safe.
She's such an idiot, okay, that she has to look at the paper to remember 50,000.
Right.
Okay, this is such an important thing. It's so important. The Dow Jones is up. She has to look at the paper to remember the number, then gets interrupted because someone said, what does it have to do with anything? Because what does it have to do with anything? And then she has to look at the paper again to remember 50,000.
Yeah, man.
And then she's reading it like she's reading a teleprompter. It's like, you're an idiot.
She's reading it like it's a gotcha.
Yeah, and it's like, wow,
And
got
it's like,
me.
it's not like, it's literally classic whataboutism. You know what I mean? Like, hey, this thing is bad. Oh, yeah, but what about this thing and this thing? All right, we're not asking you about those things. We're asking you about this one specific thing. Just answer the questions.
Yeah, and it's like, what are you here for?
Right.
You're not. This isn't a regular press conference about Donald Trump, and then a reporter's asking a question about Epstein. Then you might have an argument and go, "We're not talking about that right now. Quite frankly, the Dow Jones is up, whatever."
Right.
But this is like this is a
literally
hearing specifically
for
about
that.
Epstein.
Right.
And then all you have on your notes is opposition research and glazing Donald Trump's administration.
Right.
And it's like, well, there's zero border crossings. Great for doing the bare minimum. Thank you for doing the bare minimum of protecting the border. Thank you for doing the one thing that you were able to do, that you were running for, not no new wars, not helping the economy. Because it's like, again, with this whole thing of the stock market, these GDP hawks or these people who are like, the stock market's up. Wow, great. A bunch of billionaires are making more money. Cool. That's great for the American people because, again, people have investment funds and all that stuff. Amazing. But then also, too, it's like, why is this up so much? Is it because AI bubble? Is it because, like, who are the top companies right now? Who are the top companies increasing? It's like gambling companies. It's like, what is our economy?
Gambling and AI, essentially.
What's our economy? And that's exactly what the Super Bowl ads were showing.
Everything.
All the Super Bowl ads were robots drinking alcohol, which shows you that even if you're a bum, AI can take your job, okay?
It's crazy.
Gambling, which is like, again, a whole other thing where it's like, okay, fine, you can gamble it. I'm not going to say if just because you gamble you're evil or gambling in general is evil.
But the companies that are profiting off of it are.
Yeah, exactly. And they're making, like, they're able to pay all these streamers millions of dollars. Why? Because they're able to reap those rewards.
Right.
Because gambling, you're going to lose regardless. So it's a vice. It shouldn't be this thing that we're marveling that it's like, oh my God, our economy's up. But it's like, it just shows like, what is our purpose? What is good? What is
right?
What's the purpose of existing on this planet? What's the purpose of having this country?
Can we talk about my favorite and the best commercial that came out from the Ring cameras?
Oh my!
Which
goodness.
essentially was like, hey, here's a surveillance state for you. Good luck. You know what I mean? Like,
but they can find Fido.
Yeah.
But if Fido is lost, we can.
For those
find
of you
him.
that don't know, Ring. I'm sure most of you watched the Super Bowl, so you probably did see it. But Ring released this commercial that can help you find your lost pet, and it's so altruistic of them. And all they got to do is just turn on every single Ring camera in the vicinity and just look through it. Nothing to worry about that. It's for your dog.
And this is the thing. It's like, this reminds me of the saying. It's like, you'll own nothing and be happy. Right. You literally own nothing. Even your camera, you don't own. You don't have complete autonomy over, because the company owning the camera can tap in and then use it for whatever purpose they want. And then it makes you think, what's happening with your phone? You think your phone is just out here idly recording, and then now, because a lot of people you'll say that and they'll go, well, who's going to sit here and pay attention to every single person? Exactly.
But even before AI, interns.
But
like they had people to do that beforehand. It's just now AI does it easier
and better.
You know what I mean? Like, and now you don't need to pay people whatever they're worth to sift through these. You can just have one AI program that does it for millions.
And this is the whole thing. This is why in America right now it's such a dangerous spot. We have AI automating away people's jobs. We have the economy kind of in the dumpster for most Americans who they can't own a house or basically own anything.
People can barely rent.
I saw that they were trying to lease out PS4s or PS5s for like $10. It's like we're literally living in a dystopia.
Yeah.
We're living in a dystopia.
77. You know what I mean? Cyberpunk 26, I guess. But I feel like that's what we're living in. I've long called the U.S. a dystopia. It's like 50 third world countries mashed together. You know what I mean? And like every day I feel like I get more and more vindicated with that, especially with this whole like Epstein thing going on. That just vindicates me even more.
But the problem with it, it's like America, and this is what I was arguing with my friend. She was basically doomer and it's like, America's cooked, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, look, because for me, America is the people, okay? It's the people, it's our Constitution. We've literally been hijacked. Our country is hijacked, and our inheritance is being squandered of what we should have, and of this great nation that we have, and the great laws that we have. It's being hijacked and being basically manipulated, and we're literally cattle. Like, we're literally cattle.
Who hijacked?
Well, I would just say, like, just put it clearly, it's probably billionaires, or not even necessarily just billionaires, but just like special interests, like companies and stuff like that, like the oil companies,
It's billionaires.
Yeah, but that's
they co-opted our. I don't know if you know this, but JFK, the great JFK, was the first one to reduce the. I forget exactly what it's called, but like the millionaire tax, essentially. Where like before JFK, they had to pay their fair share. They had to pay like, I think their tax percentage was like 90 or 91 that they had to pay back. With JFK first introduced the bill, I think it dropped down to like 70-ish, something around there. And then like it progressively got less and less and less until Ronald Reagan and his like Reaganomics essentially dropped it to like 7%, 8%. So in the span of like 20, 30 years, they went from 90% that they had to pay back in taxes to 7%. And just
a lot of people didn't pay those taxes.
For sure.
They had loopholes.
They have to find loopholes, right. And that alone should tell you who hijacked our country.
Yeah, but I don't even agree with the 90% tax and stuff. I wouldn't even say it has nothing to do with taxes. For me, taxes are a part of it because I would say corporation, not necessarily billionaires, like an individual billionaire versus a corporation. They should probably pay their fair share in taxes.
We got to get rid of these loopholes, though.
Yeah, a lot of these loopholes are big problems because it's like if you're a regular American and you can't take advantage of certain loopholes and you're getting taxed at the wazoo, but like a billionaire is able to take advantage of a billion loopholes and get away with stuff. It's like I understand that. And even Jeffrey Epstein, he was a asset reclaimer for like that's like original job, aka money laundering.
Right.
But he would like reclaim assets from the government of taxes and stuff like that. So people would literally make money off this. But I would say like it has to do more so about the way that we allow money to be influenced in politics, especially too with like the court decision of Citizens United.
Mm-hmm.
It's like we're basically building the cage. And that's I say that a lot. It's like we're building the cage and we don't even realize that we're trapped until the lock is there. And it's like all these types of things. For me, the most important thing about me, it's like, especially now, right? A lot of people ask me, well, am I right wing, left wing, blah, blah, blah. I would definitely say I'm definitely more independent now, if you were to ask me straight up. But what I truly care about is the American people and our civil liberties. Like that is the most important thing to me.
Right.
So when I see that being violated, I don't care what party you're a part. I don't care. I could care less about what you're supporting, what your politics are. I care about whether or not you're trying to violate people's rights, because the one thing you have to realize about this is that it doesn't start with Trump. You love Trump. You think Trump will never do anything wrong. Cool. What happens 3 years after Trump is gone, right? Who takes over then, right? Who takes over 40 years after Trump is gone? And now there's a precedent where we just allow this type of stuff to happen. Like now we're already too far gone. I think the cage is already we basically locked ourselves in. But it's like right now we can fight back. Like right now we need to organize.
Right.
But that's not happening.
Of course not, because we have ChatGPT like picture prompts where everybody puts in their information and just shows how much AI knows about you. You know what I mean? Like, who needs clean water, bro? Who needs clean water? We have AI picture prompts. You know what I mean? Who needs to drink water?
Yeah, why do you need water? Water's fake anyways.
Right. AI's real. Water's fake.
Yeah.
You know, like it's just crazy to me. And like I think you said it perfect. I think we're like too far gone. And maybe I'm just a doomer, but like I don't see a way out of this, dude.
I'm hope-pilled, okay?
Like I like to be hope-pilled too, but like it's not looking likely. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm just getting like black-pilled. I don't know.
Yeah, but that's what they'll call you though. Like if you come and complain, and this reminded me so much. Let's talk about Dan Bongino, bro. You know Dan Bongino.
Remind me.
Dan Bongino he started off as I think he was like a Secret Service guy.
Okay.
And then he got a pretty big podcast on Rumble. I think he got banned from YouTube and stuff like that. And he started on Rumble. He had a really big podcast, and he was set up as I think he was the CIA director or the FBI director. No, not the FBI. I forgot exactly what position he had, but he had a high up position, and he basically left a year in.
To Trump's.
Yeah, he left a year in, and he started up his podcast again. And when he started up his podcast, the only thing he could say is that everyone complaining about the administration are doomers and they have no hope.
Right.
And I want to expel that. I want to expel that because it's not about that. It's like if you love America, when she breaks your heart, you cry, right? When she breaks your heart, you're upset. You know, it's not like your girl cheats on you and you go, oh, forget it, let the whole country burn down, right? Oh, I'm done with this relationship. It's like, no, America's our wife, okay? And throughout thick and thin, we have to be there, be faithful, but it doesn't mean you just let them stomp all over everything and just let everything happen. It's like you need to be convicted. You need to be ready to fight for your rights and fight for America.
It's so funny that you, the America is your wife analogy. Like, you know what it reminds me of? Have you ever seen Gone Girl?
No.
If America's our wife, she's the wife from Gone Girl, who's like, I don't want to like give spoilers, but essentially she's a top tier manipulator and like gaslighter and like victim complex. You know what I mean? And I think that's just us to a T, bro. You know what I mean? Like to a T.
But the answer is not breaking up with her. Because we can change her. We can change her. I think we can.
My therapist would say no.
I think we can. I think we can change America.
My therapist says that's a toxic relationship.
Hey, bro. I love my toxic women. What can I say?
Speaking of toxic women, we have one more clip to play because we're running out of time. But like, let's play that last clip, please.
Was the president aware of Secretary Lutnick's ties to Epstein when he chose him to lead the Department of Commerce? Was he aware?
Chris Malin was a Border Patrol agent.
Okay, so I'm going to conclude that the president, in fact, did know about his ties because he was the next door neighbor.
Shame on you.
Oh, for goodness sakes.
You're
this
from
is
a tiny,
pathetic.
beautiful
This is
state.
pathetic, Mr.
Committee
Chair.
will be in order.
I am not asking trick questions here.
You
The
got your
American
5
people have a right to know the answers to this. These are senior officials in the Trump administration. This is not a game, Secretary.
I'm Attorney General.
My apologies, I couldn't tell. By 2008, we knew that Epstein was a convicted sexual abuser. And we now know that Lutnick went to Epstein's Island in 2012. How was that not a deal breaker for the president? And why aren't you asking questions of the Commerce Secretary about what he saw when he was at the island, which he lied about not ever going to? Why are you not asking these questions? And I see that my time is almost expired, so I will say this. Do the right thing, Attorney General. Meet with the survivors. They have been asking for a year. Meet with the survivors. Do the right thing. I yield back.
Gentlelady yields back. The gentleman from South Carolina is recognized for 5 minutes.
May I have 20 seconds of his time?
That'd be up to the gentleman, but
Absolutely, Madam.
Thank you. Thank you. I was curious if you, Congresswoman, asked Bill Clinton that. Didn't see one tweet, not one. I didn't see one tweet when Joe Biden was in office about Bill Clinton. Didn't ask Merrick Garland anything about Epstein, not once when he was.
Weak sauce.
And also, I want the record to reflect that, you know, with this anti-Semitic culture right now, she voted against a resolution condemning.
He's
Jewish.
I just want to be clear. Do you want to go there, Attorney
time
General?
belongs
Or
to
do
the
you want to go there? Are
Time
you
belongs to the
serious?
gentleman
Talking
from
about
South
anti-Semitism
Carolina.
to a woman who
Lady
lost her grandfather in the Holocaust?
I reclaim my time.
Really?
I got some things to say. First, that alone should tell you that Pam Bondi is compromised. Because I feel like anybody who like their cop out like gotcha thing is like anti-Semitism. Dude, you've been bought out.
Yeah, 100%.
You know what I mean? Like, because like not to discredit anti-Semitism because that is a real thing and that does happen. But like
it is on the rise today. We can just be open and honest about
part
it.
of it is their fault. You know, the administration
I would say
and
a
the
good chunk of it, at least 80% of it is their
right.
fault.
Like they wield it like a sword. And the fact that they said it to the congresswoman whose grandfather literally died in the Holocaust. You know what I mean? Like, oh my God, I just can't.
It's like shame on these people for weaponizing Jewish people in order to get their position across. Because let's be honest here, right? Jewish people and this whole situation, they don't really have much to do with each other. Because yes, Jeffrey Epstein was a Jewish supremacist. If you looked at his tweets or
but that
his
doesn't
emails and
represent
stuff,
all Jews.
Exactly, that has nothing to do with each other. So when we talk about Jeffrey Epstein, or if we talk about him being possibly a Mossad agent, or we talk about the Israeli government, which I think are pretty evil right now, at least who's running the government right now, Benjamin Netanyahu, like demonic person.
Sure.
But it's like they're literally weaponizing Judaism and Jewish people to be able to use as a shield. And this and this argument really annoys me.
Human shields, dude.
They love human shields. This argument really annoys me, especially coming from someone who is more on the right, because we had this whole argument, this whole conversation about, I don't remember if you remember during like the whole Black Lives Matter, like, you know, Summer of Love and all this stuff, where a lot of people would just kind of use the accusation of being racist as a way to not argue the point about a specific topic, but in order to deflect and not have to argue and be able to use it as a missile word. I say this all the time, missile word. Instead of actually attacking your argument, I'll throw a word out there to just discredit you. And Republicans were super good, you know, at exposing this. That's an logical fallacy. We shouldn't think that way. Let's look at things fact to fact. Let's do that. Great, I agree.
I feel like that went out the window, though.
That went completely out the window. Why? Because the strategy no longer benefited their opposition, but now is benefiting them. And this is happening in 4K, clear display. You see it happening on the college campuses. These definitions are literally being used as weapons. They're being injected like by law, right? There's specific definitions for anti-Semitism that are out there, the IHRA definition of anti-Semitism, and they're literally codifying in law that you're going to be, possibly put in jail or lose like scholarships and all this stuff for anti-Semitism. When, like, for example, one thing that's labeled in the IHRA definition of anti-Semitism is the fact that you can't akin policies from the Israeli state to Nazis. If I compare, I think Benjamin Netanyahu acts like Hitler, right?
Right. Jail time, straight to jail.
That statement is defined as anti-Semitism in the IHRA definition of anti-Semitism. Most people, if you ask them that, is that anti-Semitic? No. Why? Because it's not a blatant statement about all Jews in a wide span.
That's like saying every American is a pedophile just because our government is filled with pedophiles.
Exactly. Or I criticize America all the time for engaging in demonic policies overseas. You think like I don't support that. You couldn't say that I'm an evil person because I support that. And that's why in Israel there's a bunch of protests that are happening because of Benjamin Netanyahu and his administration. So it's like what she's doing here is super strategic, and it's on purpose to literally, again, use Jewish people as a human shield, not to attack the argument, and instead be able to use this. And it shows you that this administration cares more about supposed anti-Semitism, right? Because if they cared about actual anti-Semitism, they wouldn't engage in the way that they're engaging in, because all it is fanning the flames.
Agreed.
And
not even
they care
it's
about
like throwing oil.
Yeah, it's literally throwing gasoline on the flames. So you could tell they don't care about defending American citizens. They don't care about exposing pedophiles. They don't care about any of that. They care about this anti-Semitism thing. And that kind of solidifies, like you said, it shows that you're bought out, because when you're using the language, like you're using the language of the government, you're using the language of how they are able to justify this to themselves. And it's like, it's obvious. It's like when you're talking to a cop or like an undercover cop, and they go, "Oh, that's a vehicle," instead of saying it's a car. It's like, okay, you just
right. It's like, did you ever see Inglourious Bastards? It's the
it's the three thing.
Right. It's the same thing though. It's a tell. You know what I mean? And like, if anything, besides like that being a huge tell that you're bought out, it's her tone too in that last clip. That's the tone of like a cornered animal, like somebody who knows like the walls are about to close in, and so it's like scramble, throw things at the wall, whatever sticks, anti-Semite. You know what I mean? Like,
not to mention that she absolutely cooked her calling her secretary.
Right,
because she acts like a secretary. She's just glazing
cooked.
him. It's like it's like, okay, yeah, he put you in that position. You are part of the Trump administration, but you are.
But it's also part of your job to hold him accountable.
Exactly.
Right. Like, so yeah, she cooked.
And
she
then
got cooked.
And then just so we can finish this up, right? Just a whole wrap in. Especially too, again, if you're a right winger, you care about this topic, you care about, our country, our rights, and all that type of stuff. They'll do this in your face. They'll lie to you in your face. And then when the midterms come up, they're begging and pleading and saying, please, 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 the Democrats are going to destroy us in the midterms, and we need your support. And it's like, you did this to yourself.
Right, I think that argument went out the window already.
You did this to yourself.
Like we mentioned it before in other episodes, but they're going to lose the midterms.
They're going to get obliterated.
They're going to get obliterated in these midterms, and it's their own fault. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, and then now the Trump administration is going to basically be on their tippy toes the whole time, because he's probably going to get impeached right away. The second the midterms are done, he's guaranteed you're going to get impeached.
If there's a God.
Well, yeah. Well, I would say like,
because let's not forget, like, Democrats are also bought out.
Well, I don't
and compromised.
But
you know what I mean?
But they're bought out and compromised. I would say they're compromised on the Israel issue, because a lot of them are getting all this money.
Even with the Epstein thing, they're compromised.
But
you know
yeah,
with
Epstein too. But I'm saying like he would probably get impeached for like the Venezuela thing.
Right.
He'll probably
have
get impeached.
nothing to do with
but
Epstein,
he's going to get attacked. Because again, let's just remember, Pam Bondi is making a fair point. That's saying they didn't care because they care now because Donald Trump.
She's on point with that.
She's completely right about that. It's just like, I don't want to hear you say that.
Right. Like you also have to take. That. It's like an abuser complaining about abusers. You know what I mean? It's like, bro, like, just because, like, out of everybody in your wife, let's say you have, like, 4 people in your family, and you all beat your wives, but you beat your wife the less. You're the best dude in that family. You're still a terrible dude.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you have to take accountability also. You know? Like, she was, like you said, she was very on point saying, like, oh, well, they never asked questions before, and this and that, and that's valid. And, like, they should be looking into that. But right now, you're the face of it.
Yeah.
You're the one
and they don't even realize that you're literally proving the point of the people because they're saying that this is a long-spanning cover-up that you've been covering up this whole time. And you're saying, well, like I remember I was talking to somebody and they're like, well, Fox News and CNN both agree on this topic. It wasn't necessarily with Jeffrey Epstein, but I think it coincides. They're like, oh, Fox News and CNN both agree, right? And I'm like, wow, thanks for making my point. There's a uniparty. There's a thing beyond just petty politics.
Also, fun fact, Fox for sure, I think CNN also, but Fox for sure is categorized as an entertainment company, not a news company. So they can't be held like liable for whatever they say because they're entertainment. You know what I mean? So like, I don't think that's the gotcha people think it is when it's like, oh, but they both agree. It's like, okay, bro, they're both propaganda machines.
Exactly.
Like it's the two sides of the same coin. You know what I mean? Like we got to look at who's flicking the coin. You know, like, I don't know, man. Like, I'm sure more things are going to come out. We'll see if or when the other 3 million
they said
files
they're not
come
releasing
out.
anymore.
Right. Like, I'm sure that'll get overturned at some point. Hopefully. We'll see what happens. It's not looking good. It's not looking good for Trump or his administration. It's not looking for Dems either because it's like, dude, we got to drain the swamp for real.
Do you know
like,
when
for
Hillary Clinton's going to come up and talk?
I thought she might have been in a trial already. I have to relook that up. But like, it's not the same kind of hearing that Pam Bondi went through because Hillary Clinton's nothing to the government right now. You know what I mean? She's not in any political power or anything like that. So I don't know. I think that would be like a legit trial. I don't think it'd be like a hearing.
No, I think they said they were going to come out and talk.
They were supposed to, and then they didn't
look too
want
deep
to.
into it because
they didn't want to, and then they kind of got forced because, like, first of all, if you don't want to come out and talk, that just makes you look worse. You know what I mean? Like, not even to defend yourself or nothing. You're just gonna take these accusations on the chin. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, man. It's personally, I think they're both evil people and should get jail time. I don't know if like Bill, I definitely think is in the Epstein files for sure. Hillary, I don't know. She's
if Bill was doing freaky stuff, Hillary knew.
Right. Can we talk about Hunter Biden and how like people are like, everybody's complaining about Hunter Biden, but he's not in the files because he like two things: meth and grown ass women. You know what I mean? True. Like,
it's like, dude, fine. It's like there's an expose. It used to be the case that it's like if you got caught cheating on your wife or you got caught because you did cocaine in college, everyone would freak out.
Right.
You know, but
now we
it's
have
like,
administration members admitting that they've done coke. You know what I mean? Like RFK said it like a couple of days ago in the midterm. He's
all the time.
Right. He was like, I used to do it off of like toilet seats, and it's like, bro,
I get my cocaine in Vaseline blue.
That's our what is it? Attorney of Health or whatever it's called. The like
Secretary of Health.
Secretary of Health. Like, oh man, we're cooked, bro.
Hey, bro. I mean, I can't talk too much crap about him because he mocks me. He mocks me. So I mean, what can I really say about him? Because that's really that's the metric here. It's like, you know, maybe you're a pedophile, but you mocked the crap out of me.
That's the metric.
Can I even say anything to you?
Right. Your opinion is invalid.
Yeah. You saw that clavicular got mocked in ASU by ASLU frat.
I don't know what any of those words mean. I'm too old. I don't know what any of those words mean.
That's actually the most pressing story of the day, that he got mocked by an ASU frat.
All right, I guess we'll end on that then.
Yeah,
all right,
that's very devastating.
We're all just getting mugged and out pedophile maxed, or however the kids say it nowadays.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah, I mean, let's just I would say one thing, just to end this off. Look into spirit cooking. I don't know if you've ever seen that. That was released during like the 2016 whole aspect of it.
Okay.
Where there was this Abramovich, I think the woman's name was, where she would do like satanic rituals for like rich people, and it's all like on video. You could see her like pouring like pig's blood on like a thing and writing like weird like satanic thing about like pinching your finger and doing all this stuff. And that was released in the first time, and then we look at the Jeffrey Epstein files now, and they're eating jerky and stuff. So this is the
how about real quick to end. Did you ever see that video of the Mexican model? I forgot her name.
Oh, yeah.
Who ran outside the hotel and was like screaming and crying, they're eating people, and then she disappeared the day after.
Yeah.
Starting to track a little bit more.
And I think it's like, it's a whole thing of like, this is what makes me scared, because it's like, can you even enter these levels if you aren't involved, or it's compromised in some way?
To get to the upper echelon?
Yeah,
no.
it's like, that's what gets me scared, because it's like, how many levels of this are going on, and the fact, like, how many levels of throughout our history is this like the first time this is happening? I doubt it.
I doubt it.
And it's like, how many other presidents have been involved in this or other thing? And it's like, how much of our political movements as a country have been manipulated by this?
All probably.
Yeah, it makes it very weird because it's like,
I don't know. I still hold very firm that, like, I know I was talking a little bit of shit about JFK before, but I still feel like he was the last real president we had. You know what I mean? Because ever since then, it's just been propaganda and puppet and an actor and more propaganda and more puppet. And, like, he was the last one to be like, I'm going to expose the darkness in our country. And, like, some things are going to come to light. And then what happened?
Have you seen his speech about secret societies?
No, I haven't, actually.
You should check that out.
All right. Well, and then, who knows, maybe next week we'll talk about secret societies because it's probably all interwoven.
Yeah, I have a buddy of mine who's just yapping my ear off. He's calling me all the time about Masonic lodges and Freemasonry and like all this type of stuff.
We can get into that.
And then you look at the Jeffrey Epstein files. He says that he works for the Rothschilds, and you know that's one of those buzzword names where it's like you hear Rothschild and you're like, what? Conspiracy confirmed? What?
Right.
You know, but
like,
it's just very weird.
They probably are. That's probably the final boss.
Yeah, true.
You know what I mean? In this whole thing, like an Elden Ring, like that's the final
level 99 mob boss.
Right. You know what I mean? It's the Rothschilds, probably, most likely. Now, you can't sue us because this is all speculation.
Of course.
You know, like nobody's saying that.
We're an entertainment company. No,
we are technically. This is an entertainment podcast, so
yeah, we are. This is an entertainment.
So yeah, good luck with that. And yeah, we'll see you guys next time.
World War III has never been closer than it is right now.
The Pentagon today announced the U.S. is sending military assets closer to Israel, including one of the Navy's most...
the way you do. You're making all my dreams come
President Xi Jinping has said that China is an home to extend the scope of his threat, and he wants people in China to...